What's up, y'all? Welcome back. 88 Fitness Live every Sunday at noon Eastern Time. Today we're talking about the truth about protein. Everybody hears about protein, overhyped, over everything. Protein's everything, right? Right. Stay tuned. We're going to cut through the crap and give you the truth.
Cut through the crap. Yeah, we're going to go through the importance of protein intake, protein timing. We'll even cover myths that you hear all the time about protein. So it's definitely going to be a fun day. Before we get too far down the road, let's just talk about what protein is. First and foremost, it is the body's primary building block. Yeah, like when you think about building tissue, building muscle, building mass, that tissue is made of protein.
Yes, protein is number one repairer of your muscles. Mm-hmm. That is why it's important, and it is very important.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes deeper than just repairing muscles, building muscles. It's important for actual like hormone production, even just like the organ tissue itself. So those are just things you don't even think about when thinking about protein.
Right.
How many people actually know when protein came to be? I mean, it was, it's kind of interesting. Like it was a Dutch scientist that came up and found this in the 1800s. So a long, long time ago. I think he was just trying to analyze different substances and, he ended up realizing that there's a bunch of different proteins and they're all kind of made the same way.
Let's clarify that real quick. Protein's been around since the beginning of time.
Well, of course.
This Dutch scientist just discovered it, labeled it, and etc.
But that led to later discoveries in the future on how to synthesize it. And so we have a lot of great protein supplements today that wouldn't have been possible had he not discovered it way back when. I think it was like 1838, matter of fact. So, proteins are made up of amino acids. I know we've talked about amino acids a lot on this channel, whether we're talking about essential amino acids or branched chain amino acids. There's actually 20 different types of amino acids, matter of fact. So
in fact, you need all 20 amino acids to make a complete protein.
Yeah. So let's get into the importance of protein. James and I are bodybuilders, so I can't stress enough how important it is for us to reach our goals for gaining muscle size as well as to repair. But as I started alluding in the beginning, it's good for overall health as well. I think one aspect, at least for me, that I don't think about right away when I think about protein is the fact that it's important for the production of different enzymes and hormones in the body and transporting that as well. Definitely not something you think about.
Yeah, I mean, I said it last week. There is essential protein. If you do not eat any protein, you will die. You need protein.
Absolutely. I mean, it helps transport nutrients in the body. Your organs, as the tissue needs to replace and turn over, it's protein. It's made up of protein. So,
yes. And number one builder of muscles, and that's what we're applying it to as bodybuilders.
Yes.
Protein builds your muscles, repairs your muscles.
Yep. Protein's also a macronutrient. So it constitutes 4 calories per gram of protein. So if you were calculating it out, that's how that would work. And it's literally found in every cell of your body. So hence the importance of protein. But again, we're here to kind of talk about building muscle hypertrophy. So one of the common things that we definitely want to talk about is just protein intake. Like, how much do you really need? And this is where I feel like personally, this is overhyped.
This is overhyped.
Like we are definitely.
There's a lot of different stuff out there telling you a lot of different things. Just remember, actually, I'll get into that later.
Can anyone actually guess what the recommended daily dose of protein is for an adult? It's like really low, y'all. It's only like 0.36 grams per pound of body weight. I mean, it's not a whole lot. That's like next to nothing. But I will say, the recommended daily allowance is really for a sedentary adult, not an athletically trained adult. And that's where the difference is.
Big difference.
But with that being said, when you start considering an athletically trained adult, this is where I feel like, as a society, we kind of just go to the far end extreme and we're kind of overdoing the protein. In reality, I would say a bodybuilder only needs between 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight.
And even that's on the high end.
Right.
So where's all the hype come from?
That's a good question.
Supplement companies. I can sell you protein. I can sell it to you. That's why it's hyped. Your muscles are made up of about 25% protein. They're made up of about 75% water. Nobody's hyping water, y'all.
It's free.
Why aren't they hyping water? Because they can't sell it to you. That's why.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so let's break it down. Like, I weigh 150 pounds. So for me, I should be having anywhere from 150 grams a day to 210, and that's it.
That's a lot.
I mean, that is a lot. And that would be for, I would say, more intense training. I'm getting ready to cut down for a show. Right now, that's not the case for me. I'm more in a bulking season, so I could probably get away with a little less than that 1 gram per body weight. I would say probably 0.7 to 0.8 is actually a good range, because I want to leave room for carbs. Like, carbs are the energy's main body source. So if you're trying to pack on, muscle, you want to eat a little more carbs. So you need to leave some flexibility in your diet and not be eating all protein.
100%. And what are you going to do if you eat excessive protein? It's going to come out as waste, or it's going to be stored as body fat.
I mean, that's either some expensive waste, and no one definitely wants to store body fat. I mean, that's like the opposite of our goal.
That's very expensive waste.
So yeah, I think, everyone is different. I think you need to really assess, are you trying to bulk? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to maintain weight? And then adjust your protein intake accordingly.
Yeah, I agree. And if you do cut back on the carbs, then okay, maybe you need a little bit more protein. Remember, carbs have amino acids in them as well. So you're getting the amino acid pool from the carbs you eat as well as the protein you eat.
Yeah. If you are extreme dieting, you probably do want to eat a little more protein. So you want that upper end of the range that we're talking about, like that 1.4 grams per body weight, whereas you don't need exactly that much when you are eating a ton of carbs and stuff like that. So really great things to consider. I guess the next topic would be protein timing. This is like one of my favorites to talk about.
Again, a lot of info out there on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's commonly recognized that there probably is a protein timing, an anabolic window that you want to push the nutrients, push the protein in the body after working out. I mean, that's commonly accepted, at least. The part where it's really controversial is, what is that window?
It's accepted there's a window, but what's the window?
What's that window? Commonplace, people are probably going to tell you like a half hour to an hour. Like, that's basically immediately after you work out. I mean, take the time, get home, whatever. But, when you are back to wherever you go after your workout, you want to hit that protein. And there's a lot of studies, new studies, in fact, that are coming out recently that talk about that window. And there's definitely evidence that supports that window being a lot longer than that hour. But it gets tricky because you're talking about experienced lifters versus novice lifters.
Right.
So I would say that a newbie at the gym, their anabolic window after working out is going to be a lot longer than someone that's been working out for like 5+ years, right?
100%.
So I would say for experienced lifters, go ahead, like, try to get that protein in as soon as you can, because recognize your window is a little shorter. Newbies, you might have a little flexibility in there to get it in.
Yeah, just keep it simple, y'all. After you work out, have some protein. No, I mean, it's that simple. You're doing pre-workout, right? So pack a post-workout, bring a post-workout. When you go home, hit post-workout. It's that simple. It really is.
Right. Absolutely. Another topic kind of related to the timing is like how much protein, not how much protein should I be eating for the day, but like how much can I absorb in one sitting? And so again, this one has a lot of controversy too. Like forever, it was like recognized like the 25 grams is like the sweet spot. And usually if you look at the back of the jug of protein, it's usually 20 or 25 grams. And like, again, like imagine that. It's kind of a weird coincidence. But in recent studies, they actually analyzed the protein synthesis window for a lot longer than just a couple of hours. They went out to 12 hours. And what they were finding is that the body continued to absorb that protein. It absorbed as much as it could in one sitting. And then over time, it kept pulling in more and using it. So I would say you can actually consume a lot more in one sitting, and it will use it over the next several hours. But eating more than 25, 40 grams starts to become kind of a lot. I mean, I don't know how big your meals are that you're eating, but I think it would be challenging.
That's where shakes come in. They aren't as good as real food. They never will be, but they are convenient. And the amount of real food you have to get in, I'm 215 pounds. To get 215 grams of protein from real food is a lot of food. So this is protein shakes or convenience. That's where that comes in.
Right. So my advice to you guys is hit that shake as soon as you can. Like, you don't need to be like in the locker room shaking it up. Like, you can go back home, go to work, whatever.
Yes.
But hit that shake. Go ahead, get anywhere from 25, 50 grams of protein. And then a few hours later, 3-4 hours later, you want another meal that has protein in it.
Yeah. You already said it. As a seasoned athlete, you got to have to hit it every couple hours because your body's used to it. It's like a machine. It keeps rolling, keeps rolling, keeps rolling. A newbie, that's a different story. They're brand new. Their body's going, what the heck? And your body's efficient. So it's going to absorb more protein if it needs to.
Right.
And like I said earlier, if it doesn't need to, it's going to go to waste.
Right.
But if it needs to, it will absorb more protein at one sitting than at another. But if your body's used to eating every 3 to 4 hours, protein every 3 to 4 hours, it's going to start get rid of it, saying, I don't need it because I know I'm getting another dose in 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, definitely great points. And you also want to make sure you're drinking enough water. You want to be able to, if you don't need it, you want to be able to flush that out of the body and all that good stuff.
You should, as fitness enthusiasts, you should be drinking water anyway.
Good point. All right. What about some common myths? Like, what are those things that you hear all the time?
More is better. I know guys that take over 400 grams of protein a day, and they do not weigh anywhere near 400 pounds. This is completely unnecessary.
They must make a lot of money.
Very expensive waste, They got very expensive waste because all that is just going right into the toilet.
I mean, I think one for me is that, like, protein's only important for bodybuilders. Like, I think people hear protein, they're like, bodybuilder. But I mean, it's important for everything. Like, even just prevention of osteoporosis, it's important. So
everything. All the macronutrients are important. You should be eating them.
Absolutely. It's even good for like antibody production. So if you want to stay healthy and well, like during flu season, protein. Another one that I hear all the time is just like plant-based proteins are incomplete. There's some truth to that. I would say, most of them are. But quinoa and soy are actual complete proteins. Meaning, what does that mean?
They amino acids profile has 20 in there and makes up the complete protein. There's also food combinations you can do that are vegan or somewhat vegan. Beans and rice, the example, make a complete protein. Pasta and cheese make a complete protein. So they have the amino acid profiles that make a complete protein. Those food sources. And I mean, be careful with your vegan proteins. Just look at how many. If you're confused, just count the amino acid profile. Hopefully, they print it on the label.
Yes.
If it's short of 20, you have an incomplete protein.
Right. And some of them will get you close. Like they might have 18 of those amino acids, but they're missing 2 because there's definitely 20.
Yep.
Another myth, we already debunked this one, is that you got to hit that protein shake immediately after working out. Like the moment that dumbbell hits the floor, chug, 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 chug. Now you have more time. Slow down, y'all. Like you have a bigger window than that.
100%. But again, keep it simple. The simplest thing is pack your protein shake. Mm-hmm. You don't have to drink it in the locker room.
Please don't. As a matter of fact.
Probably not a good idea to drink it in the locker room. But
or in your car. I mean, I think all of us have like spilled the powder on our laps, like in the car, and it's everywhere, all exploded. So
I know Camille has.
Yeah, it's bad. All right, another myth. You actually need protein supplements. You could eat them, like James said. I mean, yeah.
I said it very clearly. It's convenience.
It's convenience.
It's all it is. If you can get your protein from real food, it's better. 100% better. Nobody's going to argue that. Nobody's going to say anything against that. If they do, they're a buffoon. Just walk away. But real food will always be better than supplements. You take the supplements for convenience.
Right. So you do not need protein supplements to build big muscles. Absolutely myth.
And real food is better. Don't get that twisted. Real food will always be better than supplements. Supplements are just that. They supplement your real food.
Yeah, I mean, since we are talking about that, the best sources of protein is going to be some kind of animal-based source because it is that complete source of protein.
Yes, every animal protein is complete.
Yeah. But as we're talking for convenience, supplements can be handy. A couple good kinds of protein, whey protein is convenient, as well as casein protein. Whey is great because of how fast absorbing it is into the body. So if you are, an experienced lifter and you are concerned about that timing window, whey is probably the way to go.
Whey after your workout is absolutely the way to go. It's fast burning, fast digesting, casein slow. So if you're going to do casein, you do it before bed.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. Like instead of me doing a casein protein shake at night, I actually do cottage cheese with the yogurt, and that's how I get my casein.
Real food.
Real food.
And it's better.
All right. Well, anything else related to protein?
Very, very, very important, but also very overhyped. Get your protein.
Right.
Don't stress it. You don't need more than 1 gram per pound what you weigh. You definitely don't need more than that. And in reality, you probably don't even need that much. But to be safe, I would say 1 gram per pound. Very important, but very overhyped.
Absolutely.
Use your shakes when you have to for convenience. Other than that, eat real food.
Yeah, and have fun with it. I mean, it doesn't have to be a boring shake all the time. You can get creative and do different things.
You can throw real food into your protein shake, the peanut butter, bananas, all that good stuff.
Sounds good. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this session about truth about protein. Next week, we'll have the truth about fats for you, and that will complete out this series. So if you haven't seen the truth about carbs, I highly, highly recommend you take a look at that one as well.
Yeah, these are all the macronutrients, everything you need to know about your diet will be in these 3 series right here.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. This channel is for you guys. So if there's any topics or things you want to know about, questions you have, please join us every Sunday, 12 Eastern time, and we'll get those questions answered for you.
100%.
All right. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next time.